For the first time in my lifetime, I am allowing myself to believe in the Detroit Lions. It's a new feeling for me. It doesn't feel natural. It feels very weird. I'm hesitant. But I think the Lions are going to be really good this year. And, they sold out season tickets for the first time in the history of their stadium, Ford Field. So clearly, I'm not alone. Their fan base also really believes in Detroit. And it feels like everyone, other than, Packers fans, Bears fans, Vikings fans, seems like everyone other than their division rivals wants to see Detroit do well. They're like the little engine that could. I just want to see Detroit do something cool this year. And, man, they've got potential for that. The Lions have one of the best offensive lines in football, this really incredible group of guys. They've got a talented rookie running back, Jahmyr Gibbs, who Jahmyr Gibbs can line up all over the field. You can put him at running back. You can line him up out wide at receiver. They've also got a really good number 2 running back, David Montgomery. He's awesome. That 1-2 punch is going to be fun to see this year. They've got a solid wide receiver room for quarterback Jared Goff. They've got Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's their best receiver. And Amon-Ra St. Brown reminds me a lot of Cooper Kupp, who used to be a teammate with Jared Goff, a guy who he's naturally more of a slot receiver playing inside, but he can line up out wide, and he's a great blocker. He's very physical. The Lions also have Josh Reynolds, Khalif Raymond, and Denzel Mims. Denzel Mims is a 6'3" receiver coming out of, he got traded over from the Jets, and I'm really curious to see what he can do. Denzel Mims never reached his potential in New York. I don't think culturally he was a great fit there, but I'm hoping that the Lions can get the most out of him. They've got an exciting second-year receiver, 2022 first-round pick, Jameson Williams, who is unfortunately suspended for the first 6 games of the year, but ultimately could end up being a really big player for them who could have a lot of big plays and make a huge impact. They drafted a tight end, Sam Laporta, out of Iowa. And, he's going to be the starting tight end. I'm excited for him. I think what you have to remember when you look at the Lions, if you're not sure about their tight end situation, their head coach, Dan Campbell, played tight end in the NFL. He was once the tight ends coach under Sean Payton in New Orleans. I think he knows tight ends really well. So if he says Sam Laporta is good, I go, all right, Dan, I trust you. Let's see what he can do. And honestly, this offense really reminds me a lot of the 2018 Rams team that Jared Goff took to a Super Bowl. They were second in scoring that year in 2018. The Rams were second only to the Kansas City Chiefs. You got to remember, Jared Goff playing at a high level is really, really good and productive and can score a lot of points. That 2018 team, if you forgot what they can do, go back in time, look at their victories, look at what happened, look at how many points they scored. They were a really fun team to watch. And similar to that Rams system, this year's Lions team is going to get a lot of people out of position. They're going to run the ball heavily and really well. They're going to be under center a lot. They're going to use meaningful motion, which is going to, really what's going to happen is they're going to have a lot of plays that look very similar. A motion here, it's a handoff. It looks the same as the other one. They fake the handoff and run play action, orbit motion, short motion, stuff like that. I'm really excited to see them just manipulate defenses a ton by forcing them to give up their looks and forcing them to get out of position and kind of lulling them to sleep. They'll see, it's the same motion we've been seeing all game, and then they'll use a wrinkle off of it and go, I wasn't expecting that. I'm really excited for the creativity that comes along with what the Lions are going to do under center, using motion. And, I think people don't realize Jared Goff is going to be given like an all-time high level amount of freedom at the line of scrimmage. I've seen videos where they talk about Jared Goff goes to the line and has 5 plays available for him to run, which is an absurd amount. I mean, in the past, Russell Wilson's only had 3. I mean, they're really letting Jared Goff do what he wants at the line of scrimmage and running the right play. And that's really cool. You're giving Jared Goff total ownership of this offense. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be a big-time playmaker. And frankly, this is the best coaching staff the Lions have had maybe ever. I mean, you look at this coaching staff, you're like, wow. And, the coach that I covet, that I worry about them losing, is Ben Johnson, their offensive coordinator. He's a guy who's really smart, does a good job. They were able to keep him and not consider head coaching offers last year. I'll pay him whatever it takes to keep him there. I think he's going to be really good for Jared Goff, and they're going to do good things together. But what this Lions coaching staff is going to do on offense and defense is put players in a position to do well, which to me is what good coaching is. And they're going to take advantage of their good young players. Now, I think the one weakness in Detroit is that they've got no true number 2 outside corner. In the draft, they had 2 first-round picks. They wanted to get Jahmyr Gibbs, but I think their other target was to try to get a corner. And all the guys they wanted to draft at corner in the first round were taken from them. So they landed on linebacker Jack Campbell from Iowa in the first round as their second first-round pick, their second pick of the first round. But there's a question mark at corner. However, even though they're not as good as I'd like them to be at corner, they've got a really good pass rush. Everyone knows about Aiden Hutchinson, their number 2 overall pick. But if they get after the quarterback, it's going to make it easier for corners that don't have to defend as long. And quarterbacks who are getting sacked, quarterbacks who are getting hit, quarterbacks who are under pressure aren't as accurate. So I think the way they can make up for their lack of a great number 2 corner is get after the quarterback, make opposing quarterbacks uncomfortable. If they can do that, it's going to really help their secondary. And there's a player to watch. James Houston had 8 sacks last year, and he's a not necessarily a starting pass rusher in Detroit, but he's making a name for himself on passing downs. I encourage you to pay attention to James Houston in Detroit this year, a guy who can get after the quarterback. And 8 sacks last year to not be a starter, that's a really impressive number to me. So I'm excited about him. And then I mentioned him. Denzel Mims is a player who's got potential. I think one of the only other maybe criticisms of the Lions roster is they don't have a true big, tall, outside receiver. Well, they traded for Denzel Mims from the Jets, and I'm not sure he's going to work out, but he's 6'3", had a lot of potential in college. I was really excited for him, actually. Didn't seem to fit in the Jets organization, but maybe Denzel Mims can work out in Detroit and reach his potential, which would be really fun to see. So all that being said, I have the Lions going 10-7 this year. I know that's not, I think Lions fans want to hear 13-4, 12-5. I think 10-7 wins them the NFC North. I feel really strongly they're going to win their division. And if anything, I worry that 10-7 is too low, actually. That might not be enough wins in my predictions. But I want to be very, very clear. I'm really, really confident in Jared Goff, their quarterback. I think he's going to have a great year, and I think the Lions are going to make a playoff game. And I think it's going to be the best year in a long, long time in Detroit, and I cannot wait to watch it.